Hello and welcome to Season 4 of Roll for Puppet, the series where we let these dice design our next creature. The first 3 very chaotic seasons of Roll for Puppet are all linked in the description if you need to have a little catch up, but let's get started. First off, we're going to have to roll a d20 for our head shape. And we have rolled a 1 for our square head shape, so that's a nice, simple start to the season. I feel like episode 1, rolling a 1 straight off is a really good sign. But next, of course, we have to roll for our personality. So we have our chaos dice. On the left-hand side, we have our trusty chaos dice from season 3. And on the right-hand side, we have a brand new one with 6 new sides. Very exciting, but for today, just to ease us into it, we're going to go with our trusty season 3 chaos dice. And then we're going to alternate each week. So dice 1 this week, dice 2 next week. So our personality today for episode 1 of season 4 is From the Lore. Which basically means this puppet is going to be as mythical and magical and foresty as possible, basically, so that it looks like a character that comes from the Burrow Brownie Kingdom. The lore is definitely one of my favourite character types that we create. I just love the look of them and I love how much detail we can add. So let's get started. As you can see, we are cutting out the reticulated foam pattern on our trusty bandsaw. All hail the bandsaw. Gluing the pattern together with our contact adhesive for our forbidden honey sandwich, which is looking delicious today. And then pressing all of that together once the glue is dry to form our head shape. The S for sexy is back on the mouth plate, which we're going to glue together with the black fleece and the forbidden ice cream sandwiches, which is all going to be glued into the head. Here is the little working mouth plate. And it all gets glued into the puppet's head, moving on to our next section, which is the foam hands. So we're going to glue in the wire posable armature into the puppet's hand so that it can be movable, it can hold things, it can point certain fingers up. We find that to be really helpful and really expressive with the puppets. Glue in the arm rod pockets, glue them all together, and now we need to roll for our colours. First of all, for the amount of colours on this puppet, and we have 1 for monochrome, so another 1 for episode 1. That's surely a good sign. That one colour is 6 for brown, which is just so perfect for a mythical forest-dwelling creature from the Burrow Brownie Kingdom. Is it not? Is that not just the perfect colour scheme? All brown? And the double 1s right off the bat for episode 1 was weird, no? Or do I read too much into that? 2 things can be true. So we have this really beautiful sandy, light beige brown F3 fleece that we're going to use for half of the puppet, and then we have this kind of cool toned, really fluffy, thick, luxurious brown fur that we're going to use for other parts of the puppet. Don't worry, if the video is going too fast, we have a second version to this video that is much slower, without the fast voiceover, without the fast cuts, if you wanted to watch it in a more slowed down, calm, crafty way. If you'd like to follow along, perhaps, if you'd like to learn more about the details of puppet making, there is a longer, more than double the length of this video version, and I will link it in the description. We wanted the face to be half fleece and half fur to kind of give it the look of having this really shaggy hairstyle. So I'm just sewing the fleece together on the puppet's head, and then we're going to add this little wig of the really fluffy brown fur, and this colour scheme is just beautiful together. Our inspiration for the character so far is kind of like King of the Forest. We want him to look very much like he lives in a bush. Not in a scruffy way, just in a magical creature sort of way, as though he is just king of the forest. He's in charge. He is regal, but he's very natural, and that's kind of what we're going for so far. So we wanted the body to be the fluffy brown fur, so we're just sewing that together, gluing it in place. We wanted the hands to be the nice pale fleece, and then sew them together with these big, bushy, fluffy arms, and I just think this is so cute. Absolutely loving this character so far. So once the arms are dull jointed onto the body, we're going to be ready for our fabric reveal. Here is our monochrome square head mythical creature so far, but now of course we need to roll for our eyes. So here we go with our d6, and we have 6 for odd eyes. So far we have had 1, 1, 6, 6. Is that not... Are we not seeing the signs? So for the odd eyes, we decided to go for odd-sized eyes. We'll bring in odd-sized pupils and odd-sized eyelids as well, but we wanted to spray these and epoxy in a mount so that we can attach them to the puppet's head. We wanted them to be big, well, one of them to be big, but glossy, white, really expressive eyes that we can add a lot of expression to later on. Once they're dry, because that was a whole, like that would have taken a long time and we didn't want you to literally sit here and watch paint dry, we're going to attach them to the puppet. And they definitely, do they not look in charge of the forest to you? Are you gonna, I'm not gonna disobey him in the forest. Once they're in place and we found the right positioning for the pupils, I've attached a large pupil on the smaller eye and a tiny pupil on the big eye, which just makes for this really fun expression. And then we're gonna go around and measure exactly where we would like these brown fleecy eyelids to go. Going with a slightly darker and warmer toned brown fleece, and then just for a little bit of extra definition and expression, we're going to line that eyelid with some black foam sheet. Like he's got eyeliner on, like he, you know, is in charge of the forest. So now we need 4 D20s for our features, and we have 3 for horns, 9 for clothing, 11 for nails, and 20 for dealer's choice. Okay. Episode 1 and the dice trust us already with a dealer's choice. Okay, I don't know who's keeping count, but the signs are all looking good already. I'm having a great time. First off, a dark brown fleecy puppet tongue, the same colour as the eyelids, because every puppet needs a tongue. That's not being left up to fate. And then moving on to our horns, we definitely wanted to add some definition and some shading and some colour with our airbrush. And we're going with these really big, dramatic, curly animal style horns. We're adding the same colour of shading to a little set of nails that we're going to add to the puppet's fingers. Screw those horns in place and that just looks so mythical and fun. But as we mentioned, he does reside mainly in a bush, so we're going to add lots of greenery and moss to the horns as well to kind of just bring out more of that. We want it to look like plants are literally living on him, so we're adding the painted claws to the tips of each finger and adding some moss as well. At the moment, if you've been watching Roll for Puppet on TikTok, you know that I can't stop adding freckles to any puppet. I'm in a real freckle stage. And I definitely felt like it needed a little bit more colour and depth on the face of the puppet. Once that's added, for our clothes, we're going to make him a little mythical cloak out of this really beautiful beige quilted material. First of all, cutting it to shape, ironing it, sewing it, and then we wanted a little fur trim because you've got to remember, he is the king. So we're going to sew that lining of fur onto it, and then we're going to measure it just one more time before we attach it to the body. I wanted this really fun, kind of magical looking brown and red, really beautiful deep adornment, and we added that as kind of the buttons. Now for some extra features, because I don't know if I mentioned this, he is the king. He definitely needs a very natural looking crown, and we added some little decorative acorns around, just a few more features, anything to make him look really regal and just finished. We wanted that final little thing, and here we have the completed first puppet of season 4, the first puppet here on YouTube. I absolutely loved bringing them to life, and this is definitely the kind of puppet that only the dice can create, but they also trusted us a lot in this episode. So that bodes well for the rest of the season. I am so excited to hear what you think about this puppet. Obviously, he is the king of the forest, he is mythical, he is monochrome, and he looks very beautiful. So hopefully you enjoyed getting to watch the entire build process of this puppet coming to life. There was a lot of fun and a lot of chaos with the dice, so let me know what you think in the comments down below, and don't forget, if you wanted a more sort of descriptive, in-depth, relaxed, crafty version of this video, then there is an extended director's cut, I suppose, without the annoying voiceover, linked in the description. And of course, we will see you very soon for another episode of Roll for Puppet here on YouTube. And of course, if you loved this video and you would like to support the show, we couldn't keep going without the support of our wonderful community over on Patreon. You can head over there, there's lots of fun perks, a Discord server, discount codes, pins of the month, a book club, so much, and we will see you very soon.